Hello there. Today we're going to look at Woke Up Late by the Drax Project. I like this song because it is ridiculously catchy with its simple melody and harmony, which is underpinned by syncopated rhythms and sparse textures. This song uses tenths in its guitar part, which is basically a reduction of the chord down to just the root and the high third, or the tenth. This has become hugely common in pop music recently for a number of reasons. This gives the harmony and texture more space for other instruments, while the guitar is still able to convey the most important parts of the harmony and still have that guitar texture in the mix. Instruments don't really need to compete for volume anymore. A guitar doesn't need to play multiple notes to be heard. Its harmonic simplicity draws attention to the part. In the first bar, we start off with the D on the 10th fret of the E string and the F on the 10th fret of the G string. And this has kind of a funny rhythm that'll come up in later bars as well, of a dotted quaver to a semi-quaver. So you would count that as 1E and A. Then in the second half of the bar, we're going to emphasize the third beat and the fourth beat. So we start off on the third beat with a dyad of F, the 8th fret of the A string, and A, the 10th fret of the B string. Then we go to the C, the 8th fret of the E string, and the E, the 9th fret of the G string. So the first bar would be, so 1E and a, 2E and a, 3 and a, 4E and a. So then in the second bar, we start off on the B flat, on the 6th fret of the E string, and the D, which is the 7th fret of the G string, and we have that same dotted quaver to semi-quaver rhythm. So 1E and A. And then we play it again on the third beat. Then we go down to the A on the 5th fret of the E string, and the C on the 5th fret of the G string. And we hold this for a dotted quaver length, and then we add the F, the 6th fret of the B string, on top of it. So that would sound like 1E and a, 2E and a, 3 and a, 4E and a. And we do this twice. Then on the third time, we start off the same with the B flat to the D, but this time rather we go up to the C and the E again, and that turns us around back to the start of the phrase. So the whole thing would sound like, and what I'm doing to pick this is just using my thumb and either my first or second finger. Sometimes I like to employ another finger for the... So that'd be thumb, second, third, or thumb, first, second. In the chorus is the only time in which the guitar part changes. So rather than starting on the D, it changes to start on the F and going up to the 10th, A. It still has that same characteristic dotted quaver to semi-quaver rhythm. Then on the third and the fourth beat of that bar, it goes to an octave of C from the 10th fret of the D string and the 13th fret of the B string, to the fourth beat, which has an octave of G, the 10th fret of the A string and the 12th fret of the G string. So that would sound like 1E and a, 2E and a, 3 and a, 4E and a. Then we come back to the D with the same dotted quaver to semi-quaver rhythm. Stick on the D for the 3. Now we employ the same thing that we did down here, except on the C and the E, and we're going to add an A on the top as well, which is the 10th fret of the B string. So we're going to have, so that bar would be 1E and a, 2E and a, 3 and a, 4E and a. Then we go down to the B flat and the D again. Then this time, rather than going back to the A, we're just going to go back to the C. That whole part together would sound like this. Actually though, one of my favourite things about this song is the original music video. Whenever I feel homesick, I go back and watch this video because it has all these great sweeping shots of Wellington. If you found this video useful, consider subscribing to keep up to date with the latest releases. There's also a backlog of other videos which you could check out as well. If you wanted to see some videos of myself performing, there should be a link somewhere around my head.